over the latest about the plan to not tax Social Security benefits. All right, so this is different than people think, oh, no Social Security tax. No, that's FICA tax. So FICA is what you pay out of your Social Security or out of your W-2 wages or 1099 if you're self-employed. Those are go into, Social Security or Medicare. And that's what is based when you retire in the future, you get disability, survivor benefits, whatever the case may be. That's how that is determined, how much you actually paid into the system. What the proposal is by President Trump is once you start receiving those Social Security benefits from retirement, survivors, disability, spouse benefits, whatever the case may be, that you will not have to pay a tax on that. Currently, you do. And you didn't have to pay taxes. People didn't have to pay taxes from basically the start of Social Security in 1935 up until 1984. There were no taxes on Social Security benefits. As part of the early 1980s, and in order to build up the Social Security Trust Fund, which the trust fund is about $2.6 trillion now, in order to build that up for future baby boomers, they did a lot of things, raised the retirement age, started taxing Social Security benefits. Um, and President Trump said he is going to end taxes on Social Security. But in order for that to happen, it can't be done. It cannot be done by an executive order. It has to go through has to pass a law, has to go through the House of Representatives. They have to come up with a plan, a proposal. I don't see anything there yet. There's a lot of stuff about renaming the Gulf of Mexico and stuff, but no plan I see yet in terms of stopping those taxes. So once it passes the House of Representatives, if it passes, then it has to go to the Senate, and then it goes to the White House, and the president signs off on it, and then it becomes law. It's definitely not going to happen this year. So unfortunately, we are in the midst of our favorite time of year, tax season. So if you're receiving Social Security benefits, you just might have to pay taxes on those Social Security benefits. But remember, about half of people who are receiving Social Security benefits do not even pay taxes on their Social Security benefits. There are thresholds. The thresholds have been pretty much the same since day one, since 1984. In 1984, when they passed it, the threshold is relative. It was kind of high at that time. About 10% of people paid taxes on their Social Security benefits, high wage earners that had other income or whatever the case may be. But because those numbers have never changed, more and more and more people are paying taxes on their Social Security benefits. And right now we're looking at about 40 or 50% paying taxes, but the other 40, 50% are not. And how to calculate that, I always tell people, if you're new to my channel, my name is Ed Weir. I retired from the Social Security Administration, and in my semi-retirement, I'm helping people get the benefits they earned. Retirement, survivor benefits help you navigate the system. And I'm also trying to make sure these benefits are here. They don't get cut in the future. We'll talk about that here in a little bit. But in terms of all the other proposals, there's also a proposal to stop taxing overtime and stop taxing taxes, or excuse me, tips. Well, anyway, a lot of people think those are taxes on going out to eat. But anyway, okay, great. But that is also going to reduce the amount of money going into Social Security. Right now, as things stand, we're looking at some cuts in 2034. If everything stays exactly like it is, as of right now, it looks like in 2034, everybody's Social Security benefit is going to be cut by about 21%. These numbers, I think, are going to go up based on the Social Security Fairness Act that was recently passed. But if President Trump gets his proposals passed, it's actually going to make things worse. We're looking at about 2031. So right now, with the current law, the trust fund is there. It's $2.6 trillion. If you're receiving Social Security benefits now, you are receiving the trust fund. People say, where's the happened to the trust fund? Look in your check, your direct deposit. That's where the trust fund is. A percentage of your benefits that are paid every single month comes from the trust fund. And next month, a little bit more, and then next year, a little bit more. And once we reach 2034, the trust fund is going to run out. But one of the problems is if people stop paying taxes, and if you know, if I personally, my 2 cents, I'm sure a lot of people don't care what I think. A lot of people on this channel think that Social Security benefits should have never been taxed. I am one of those people. I don't think it should ever have been taxed, but it has. And if you look at the numbers, taxes on those benefits generate about $49.8 billion into the Social Security Trust Fund. So if those taxes are ended, then there's going to be a gap there, and that gap has to be filled. And if there's no taxes on overtime, no taxes on tips, um, and some other plans, these is the Congressional Budget Office there, the Committee for Responsible Federal Budget. If those plans are passed, then the trust fund is going to run out sooner, and we're looking at deeper cuts as well, probably about 33%. And I've got all of the references to this on my YouTube description. So if you want the actual references, the Congressional Budget Office, the Social Security trustees, whatever you want to look at, make sure you check out my description, and it has all of the details there. All right. So the proposal to stop taxes on tips and overtime, there's not really a plan per se. It was kind of a campaign promise, and there was no specific answers in there of, okay, what are we talking about? Are we talking about no income taxes on tips and overtime? Or are we talking about no Social Security payroll taxes on overtime and tips? Or are we talking about both? That has not been worked out yet. Again, it has to go through Congress. It has to be brought up by the Senate or the House, usually the House, and they, you know, do a bill. Remember the 1970s, the great song Schoolhouse Rock about how a bill becomes a law and stuff. So that's how it's going to have to happen. He can't do just an executive order. Um, and the people, unfortunately, a lot of people out there, it's great. I really want to, yeah, no taxes on my Social Security benefits. Awesome, awesome, awesome. But a lot of people that say that aren't even paying taxes on their Social Security benefits. And um, they're going to be the ones that are going to be hit the hardest sooner, because the people that are just living on Social Security right now cannot take a 21, 23, 24, 33% cut in their Social Security benefits. They're, getting scraping by right now. And to get a further cut, and for something that's not even going to help them, it's going to be very, very tough. So let me get into some reminders here. This is also a live Q&A. I'm going to open up. Looks like I got tons of questions already. So if you have any questions about all things you, your friends, or family need help navigating the bureaucracy that is Social Security, make sure you type your questions down in the chat there, and I'll get to as many as I possibly can in an hour. I'll spend the whole hour answering your questions. So I want to get some tax reminders for 2025. Number one is you still have to pay FICA taxes. Sorry. You still have to pay if you're one of the 50% that pays taxes on your Social Security benefits. And to figure out, rather than giving you all the computations of how it's all done, in my description as well, in my YouTube description, you go down there and I put the link for the IRS website. So you just go into the IRS website and you just answer 6 or 7 questions: how much you're going to make, how much your other income you're going to make, or how are you receiving Social Security benefits. You just answer those, and it'll tell you how much of your Social Security benefit will be taxed. It's either 50% or 85%, but you only count half. So it's basically kind of, the threshold is 25,000 if you're single, 32,000 if you're married. So if you make under that, then you don't pay taxes. And again, the Social Security or IRS only counts half of that. So, but you can go into it's easier just to check out your particular case, go into the link I have in the description, type in your numbers, and it'll tell you exactly how much your Social Security is being taxed. And if it turns out your Social Security benefits are not being taxed, then, it might be a good idea to say, no, I don't want the Social Security Trust Fund to run out, and all the rest of it. So anyway, but one of the things, if you turn out that you want your Social Security to be taxed, it's called a voluntary tax withholding. People, don't want to pay more at the end or less at the end once they do their taxes. So you can do a W-4V. It's the form number, and you can put like 7%, 15%, 22% to be withheld from your Social Security benefits. And people ask me all the time when I took hundreds of thousands of retirement claims, how many percent should I take? It really depends on your particular situation, what other type of income you got, and you can change that every year. So if it turns out, you paid more or less, and you talk to your tax accountant and it says, well, you should withhold more taxes or less taxes or zero taxes voluntarily, then you can just change that every year until you get dialed in right. And this is another thing for those people. If you know someone that had a baby in 2024, it's important that they get a Social Security number. Usually, those when you have a baby in a hospital, it's called enumeration at birth. They give you a number at birth at the hospital. They fill out all the stuff. They submit it to the Social Security Administration. But sometimes the hospitals don't do it right. The name is messed up. The date of birth is messed up. And then when you go to file your taxes, everything is messed up. Or if you didn't get your child's Social Security number, make sure you do this immediately because everybody waits till the last minute. And April 15th, they say, oh, I'll go ahead and do my taxes. Oh my gosh, I don't have my child's Social Security number. What am I going to do? They all freak out and they all head down the Social Security Administration because you cannot do this online. You actually have to go in there. So if you know anybody, family, friends, neighbors that had a child in 2024, reach out to them, say, hey, did you get your child's Social Security number? Because you're going to need that and you better get it quickly. So, all right, little FYI there. Insider tip, trick, and secret for all those people watching. All right, let's go ahead and jump into all of your questions. And let's see. And someone had a question about Chapter. Chapter is my partner that helps people with all things Medicare. They sponsor us here. And someone said, remind people that Chapter is only for people at 65 years old. That is incorrect. If you are receiving disability benefits, SSDI, then you're eligible for Medicare after being on SSDI for 2 years. So Medicare plans, Medicare Part A, B, Medicare Advantage, Medicare supplements, Part D plans, and all that. If you're 30 years old and you have that, then yeah, you need a plan as well, unless you got a few $1 million sitting out there. Paul became a member. You are so awesome. Thank you very much. Let's see. Taken Took. Hey, what's up, Taken? In addition to the presentation PBS uploaded today, Schweikart also had a great presentation. Oh, he was the guy with the boards and stuff. Yes, he did a excellent presentation. I might have to just pop it up on one of my videos one time about the budget and the serious things. Yeah, we've got too many people, politicians distracting us about this, that, and the other, rather than having serious conversations. And we need serious conversations. Thomas, how about anyone reaches out? After all, technically every American is her constituent. No. Okay, so one of the things that we need serious people to address Social Security's issues, so we don't get cuts in the future. I always recommend people reach out to their politicians, and here is the information, the switchboard and everything like that. And you can technically call any politician in the country. They're all your constituents, or you are their constituents because you're an American citizen. But they almost always prefer people contacting. They put a little bit more weight in people contacting them from their particular jurisdictions, their particular, congressional districts, or whatever the case may be. So, but yeah, you can contact any. It's called participatory democracy, and it is a beautiful thing. Let's see, Rita. What's up, Rita? Took Social Security at 62, couldn't get half a spouse's SSDI, now divorced and full retirement age. Can I switch to ex-spouse's SSDI benefit, or I penalize until he passes? Well, you don't switch, you add. So, but that person's benefit amount, their full benefit amount, has to be twice your full benefit amount. So not sure why you couldn't get it at that time. Maybe the numbers weren't right. Your benefit was more than half of his. But yeah, I would definitely call up. Maybe his benefit amount has increased since then. And now there might be some extra money on there. So I would definitely reach out to Social Security and say, hey, they won't give you the numbers. What you do is you say, hey, I want to file a spouse claim, a divorce spouse claim. And They say, "Oh, okay. What's the social security number?" And you say, "Well, I don't know it." I said, "Okay, no problem." You just tell them the person's name, the date of birth as well as you know it, the place, the city and state where they were born, and the social security employee will be able to find it. I've found millions of. I was never not able to find a social security number. So I found you find the claim specialist, the person on the phone finds the social security number, and they look at it, and then they look at your record, and if they say, yeah, you can't file a claim because there's no money there, and no money is the calculation is yours is more than half. But that could always change. And remember, what the Social Security employee should also say that, okay, yeah, no, there's no use in filing a claim because there's no money there. Remember, if your ex is alive, your your benefit amount has to be less than half of theirs. But as a surviving spouse or surviving divorced spouse, that doesn't apply anymore. If your ex's benefit amount is $1 more than you, then you could be very well be entitled to that extra $1. So there's a lot of people out there that unfortunately called Social Security, a year ago, 5 years ago, 10 years ago, and said, "Yeah, I want to see if I'm entitled to any benefits on an X." And they say, "No, you're not entitled," or they put it in a way they shouldn't. And so those people are walking around and they've got, hundreds, maybe $1,000 waiting for them and they're not getting it and they're suffering. So please like and subscribe and share and reach out to the people that you know and say, "Hey, did you ever check on your ex?" And I know that you got to be able to find someone out there that can help, that you can help. As long as you're single, you can just add it to your social. Okay, yep, looks like somebody answering someone else's question there. I appreciate it. Got some people that became members. You guys are awesome. Paul, Jeffrey, Malik, the boss. Wow, I got a lot of members today. You guys are awesome. I appreciate it. Makes everything run here. Thinking about doing a call-in show. I'm working on that. My son and I are working on that. That should be interesting. That way, I don't have to read your Q&A here. We can just you can just call in. It might be a pretty good thing, or it might be a total disaster. We shall see. I will be full retirement age October 2025. Currently, I have been collecting a survivor benefits for 2 years due to a severe injury. Social Security office told me I could switch to my benefits 5 months early with no penalty. True. It really depends on your deceased spouse on when they collected benefits. So surviving spouse benefits are kind of the calculation depends on when you start the benefits and when your ex started the benefits, and sometimes it varies on whether they're going to go up to your full retirement age. But yeah, you could very well switch over to your own. That is the one thing that's the exception. If you're getting regular spouse benefits and your ex is still out there alive and kicking, then you have to start benefits on your own record. If if we're talking about surviving spouse benefits, you can, as you have, just start receiving your survivor spouse benefits and then switch to retirement benefits on your own record later. So yeah, that sounds correct. So you can, but remember, the benefits on your record continue to increase until you hit 70 years old. So you might want to check that out. So you've been collecting survivor benefits and you're like, "Oh, there's more money on my record." Okay. All right. But you're not your full retirement age yet. If you wait till your full retirement age, you get the full benefit amount. If you wait till 70 or 68 or 69 or 70, you get even more. It's called delayed retirement credits. Every year you wait after your full retirement age to receive benefits, you get an extra 8% added on there. So just I would maybe schedule an appointment, call up, be on the phone for 3 hours, and when you're on the phones, go on to your politician's website and say, "Hey, how come I have to be on the phone for 4 hours?" And set up an appointment to file for benefits on your record, and that's the way you'll definitively know the numbers. And then it'll probably be a phone appointment. You talk to the person at that time and you say, "Okay, if I start my benefits today, how much is it going to be? If I start my benefits next year, how much is it going to be? How about the next year?" And then if you want your benefits to start, you say, "All right, adjudicate, process it. Let's do it." If not, you just say, "Oh, never mind. I'll come back next year." And the Social Security employee will be very, very happy because that means they can go on to their 400 other cases and they don't have to worry about adjudicating your claim. So it's not like a car salesman. It's like, oh my gosh, I lost the sale. No, they're like, oh, you don't want it? Okay, bye. So all right. Got a Jordan at chapter was awesome today. We agreed I am good on the Advantage plan I have, but we'll revisit them in October to check again. Awesome. Yes. A lot of people that call chapter, I like that. I like when, they say, no, you're good. Yeah, you don't have to do anything. See you next year. So would I always recommend Medicare supplement plans, but a lot of people can't get that because, there's a monthly premium and they can't get it because of health underwriting and Medicare Advantage, you just have to keep up on it more than normal. So you were doing the right thing and you kept up on it, double check to make sure your plan is the best for you. And it sounds like it is. So awesome. True. Good afternoon, Dr. Ed. My neighbor, Sally, love this. I'm going to get to some sound effects or something. I need to work on sound effects. When people say, I'm asking for my neighbor or my relative, that's awesome. Awesome. That's what this is what we want. My neighbor Sally is turning 65 in June, wants to know if there is a payment place for Part B and Sup M and Part Drug D, or is it due every month? Thanks for all you do. We appreciate you. You're welcome. So if she's turning 65 and she doesn't have health insurance from current work, hers or her spouse's, and if she does, that employer, that group health plan has to be 20 or has to have 20 or more employees. But if that doesn't apply to her, then yeah, she has to go ahead and sign up for Part A and Part B to avoid those penalties. So it sounds like they are, and she's probably not receiving benefits. If she's receiving benefits from Social Security, then Part B will be taken out of there automatically. But if she's not, then what they do is they will bill her, or she can go online and do kind of a setup, kind of a online payment system to pay for her Part B. The Medicare Supplement Plan N, which your neighbor is awesome. She was able to afford that. She chose the supplement. Good. You don't have any health underwriting when you turn 65, so they can't deny you. So yeah, at that one, the Medicare supplement, she has to pay that particular company, whatever company she chooses, she has to pay that separately. So yeah, pretty much the same thing with Part D. You can get that paid out there. But that's the only thing that she needs to check on a regular basis. If she has a Medicare supplement, then most people keep those, pretty much forever, unless later on you want to check to see if you can get a cheaper Medicare supplement. So if you have like a Medicare supplement, Plan G, and you want to find a cheaper Plan G or something like that, you can do that any time of the year. But there's health underwriting that might be involved there. But the Part D, she definitely needs to check up on once a year to make sure she's saving as much as she possibly can with her prescription drugs. Valerie, I retired at 62 2 years ago. When I reach 65 next year, will I still be at the income limit for 22,000 a year, or will it change? At 65, you will still be under that limit. This year it's the 23,400. Once the year you turn your full retirement age, that's when it really jumps up. Like this year, the year you turn your full retirement age, you can make $62,160 in the months before you hit your full retirement age. After that, you can make a billion bucks a month, and there's no withholding $1 for every $2 or anything like that. So yeah, so unfortunately for 65, you're still limited. And so whatever it is could be for next year, probably what 24,000 or so. Mark, do you have any idea when the payment might start for the firefighters? Yeah, the Social Security Fairness Act. Reach out to your politicians. The politicians on both sides, President Biden signed the Social Security Fairness Act and HR 82, and it's 2 sentences, and they gave it to Social Security, and they didn't give him any resources to do it. And Social Security is already at a 50-year low in terms of staffing. That's why you have to wait for 3 or 4 hours, because there's just not enough people on the other side. And it's not about telework. So if they end telework, there's still going to be a 50-year low in terms of staffing. And I'm going to call those politicians out that went on the internet and said, well, the reasons they don't pick up the phones is because they're at home playing around with the dog. And it's okay, end telework and let's see. And telework is going to end. And yeah, so yeah, reach out to your politicians and say, hey, what's going on here? Let's see. Is the plan to cut benefits across the board, even with no tax? It's no good. Yes, I agree with you 100%. I am for my political party is Protect Social Security Party. And a lot of people on here that watch my channel are part of the same political party. 80% plus of the American people support strengthening Social Security. It doesn't matter whether you're liberal or conservative, Republican or Democrat, people support Social Security, and we will support any politician that strengthens Social Security 100%. I don't care who they are. How do you not pay federal tax on Social Security? My husband and I both pay that tax. Um, yeah, it depends on how much other income. So, like I said, 50% of people, or 40 to 50% of people, haven't seen the stats for last year yet. They haven't come out yet, but because of their low income, they just basically only have Social Security. Then they don't pay taxes on it. So, oh, let me see. Medicare question, James. If I have a year-old Medicare supplement and switch to another Medicare supplement, do I need to medically qualify? In most states, yes. So, but you're doing the right thing, James. See if you can save some money. Sometimes you get into a Medicare supplement plan and you choose the wrong one. You choose the one that's the cheapest because they're all the same in terms of coverage. A plan G is a plan G is a plan G. Plan N is a plan N is a plan N. It's all about the price and the future prices. So sometimes these companies, they lure you in with a really, really cheap, introductory price, and you get in there and you forget about it and they jack up your prices. So yeah, make sure, yeah, you can reach out to chapter or whoever signed you up with your plan and say, hey, by the way, I'm still healthy. So can I switch, save myself some money? So is the max payment from Social Security limited to the 176,100 that they only pay in on? Okay, so yes, that's the max that you pay FICA taxes on. So if you make $176,100 and under, you pay FICA tax on every penny, every dollar you make. If you make over that, you don't pay FICA taxes anymore on any amount over that. And yes, their benefits amounts are based on what they actually paid into Social Security. But remember, Social Security is kind of a progressive system that there's calculations. So if your average earnings throughout your life was $1,000 a month, you're going to get a 90% return, a replacement rate. If your average earning throughout your life was $10,000 a month, you're getting 35% back of what you paid into it. So your monthly benefit amount would be $3,500. If your average throughout your life was 1,000, you're going to get $900 back. So it's been like that since 1935. So the more you pay into it, the less percentage you get back. And it's always been like that, unless you are part of those 3% with the Social Security Fairness Act and you get extra percentages, which I think is completely unfair to the other 97%, but I lost that battle. You need to pay taxes on 85% of benefits if income exceeds 44,000. Vincent, current occupant of the White House, proposes to increase threshold to approximately 66,000. He's not making Social Security tax free. Well, he said he was going to end taxes on Social Security. I haven't heard him differentiate that. But yeah, if you saw another plan out there, we will see what happens with the actual bill. It has to go to, again, it can't be an executive order. It has to go through the House. When getting survivor benefits, I will biweekly. How do they calculate when 1 week goes on the next month? Biweekly calculate survivor. Yeah, I'm not exactly sure what you're asking there. Yeah, it's not a biweekly. It's survivor benefits is once a month, and if for some reason Department of Treasury decides to put your benefit in on the Friday because the end of the month comes on a weekend or something like that, then you technically get two checks in 1 month. And then people on social media love that. Then they make all those videos. You're getting 2 checks this month. Oh my gosh, read this. You're going to get 2 checks. And you watch it and it's like, yeah, they're just giving you a day early. They're not giving you, 13 checks a year. It's, yeah. So I see you kind of negative towards Trump. Maybe when Trump keep his promise to the American people, maybe your attitude will change a little bit and maybe you have a little more faith. Yeah, absolutely. 100%. Again, I'm, Social Security party. Keep his promise. So his promise was not to cut Social Security and not raise the retirement age. Okay, fine, perfect. But what is he going to do to stop the inevitable cuts to Social Security? I haven't seen him have a plan on that, so there is no promises there. Um, and promise to end the taxes. Okay, fine, but I haven't heard of a plan to fill that gap and therefore result in more cuts. So yeah, but if you know of one, I am, whatever protects people's Social Security benefits out there so they can, live and pay their bills. I am 100% on it. We can't keep doing the same thing. What is that? The definition of stupidity is to keep doing the same thing and expect different results. Need an out-of-box idea. The new Department of External Revenue Service may help the Social Security Fund and other programs. Thank you for all you do. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Unless they use that to invade a Middle East country and or buy TikTok or something. So we shall see. What if Musk steals all Social Security money? Yeah. Yeah, his statement that he came by there about the duplicate numbers and all this kind of stuff and massive fraud because of it, that shows he really doesn't know what he's looking at. Every single Social Security employee in the country, when they read that, and like, oh my gosh, what is this guy talking about? It's like a doctor coming in and you're having a massive heart attack, and the doctor says, "Have you thought of maybe chicken soup? Have you been eating chicken soup?" It's like, what? I'm having a massive heart attack and you're about chicken soup and about the Super Bowl or something like that. And it's like, you're going to have no faith in that doctor. I need another doctor. So if the Dr. Musk comes in and says, well, here's what I found at Social Security is these pneumodents, which are not the pay records. Yeah, I've not much faith. But if he's looking for fraud, waste, and abuse, I am 100%. Call me. I can help you out with that. I reach full retirement age September 2026. When can I start making the most money? The most money, you're September 2026. You can go back to making $1 billion a month, right? Doesn't matter anymore. Well, I'm sure it matters to you, but nothing is withheld in terms of Social Security. Let's see here. Why do they even bother doing CDRs on folks 62 and older if they would be on Social Security anyway? That doesn't sound cost effective for Social Security. Yeah, you don't switch to regular Social Security benefits until your full retirement age. So if your full retirement age is 67, you're still going to be on disability benefits for the next 5 years. So, but yeah, I agree with you. But there's a lot of people that are on disability and Social Security. That's part of the fraud, waste, and abuse type of program. Is they need to make sure that everybody that's on disability are still disabled, and Social Security defines disability as the inability to work. So that's what a continuing disability review is for, is exactly that. Got a call back from a representative named Tiffany yesterday to start my benefits early. She was very nice. I mentioned your name and she knew who you were. She said someone else mentioned your name earlier. Oh, okay. So at Social Security. Yeah, I see someone else. They called Social Security Administration and the person on the other side of the line helped her out and they were awesome. I wish I knew what office that was because, yeah, the Social Security employees we're really, really understaffed and they're under attack now. Politicians don't want you to get your benefits, so they are preventing Social Security from helping you get your benefits, and that's why I have to do these crazy channels. But when the Social Security employees go, well, not even above and beyond, when they do their job, and go above and beyond and nice and all that, then yeah, it's a beautiful thing that we need to say, good job. What do you think he is doing? Musk needs dollars. Tesla's bankrupt. Wall Street is sick. All right. My Social Security is being taxed at 85%. Not your Social Security is not being taxed at 85%. You're paying whatever tax rate you are, but 85% of your Social Security benefits are subject to those taxes. So not 100%. So if you're making $1,000 and your tax rate is 20%, then you're paying 20% on your Social Security taxes. But the 85% is it's not 100% of your benefits, 85%. So it's 20% of 85% of your benefit. And I'm not going to do the math right now because then you'll see my head explode. Let's see. Congress is attacking the benefits of beneficiaries. Yeah, they are, trying to kill Social Security by a death by 1,000 cuts, prevent you from getting your benefits. They're not staffing Social Security. They're not giving Social Security the resources so the Social Security can pick up your phones. And people are missing benefits every day. They don't realize they can file for survivor benefits and and hold off on their own. They are not filing for their lump sum death benefits, even it's $255. They're not filing. They're not getting their decision on their disability. Yeah, there's unfortunately a lot of people that are not getting the right benefits because Social Security there's just not anybody there pretty much. And hey, efficiency, if Elon Musk can go in there and help with efficiency, that is 100%. Yeah, we definitely welcome that. But I don't think we want, AI in there to adjudicate your Social Security retirement claim or something. Yeah. A lot of private Medicare plans tried that with pre-authorizations and yeah, didn't work out well. During questioning, RFK didn't know the difference between Medicaid and Medicare. RFK has an Advantage plan and was unaware of the problems with it. He and Dr. Oz love Advantage plans, particularly Dr. Oz. Dr. Oz used to talk about Medicare Advantage, have people, agents come onto his show all the time and recommend Medicare Advantage plans. And he has made no secret that he wants essentially Medicare Advantage for all. Okay. But, everybody knows the two issues that really need to be figured out on that is those prior authorizations and the limited networks. So if he decides to use that infrastructure of Medicare Advantage for all, okay, but you got to fix this, this, and this before you do it. Because if you don't, then yeah, people are going to be hurting. I'm applying for IEDS at 64. Awesome. That's independently entitled divorced spouse. So this person, their ex-spouse hasn't started receiving benefits yet, but their ex-spouse is at least 62 years old and they've been divorced for 2 years. So your ex-spouse doesn't have to be receiving benefits for you to start your benefits. Okay. X is 63. How do they project what his income will be at his full retirement age 5 years in the future at 67 to decide your Social Security benefit amount? I know mine will be reduced. Yeah, that's just a future projection. When you file, they'll take his benefit amount, what it is right now, his PIA, his primary insurance amount, and that's what they will use to determine your benefit amount. And when he actually works and actually pays into Social Security, if that's one of his high 35 years, then his benefit will increase. And guess what? Your benefit will increase as well. So if my husband gets a check for disability under military, can he draw from SSDI? Yes, absolutely. The VA disability has no relevance to Social Security disability at all. So 100%. I had a lot of people in I'm an old Marine Corps sergeant, so I had a lot of veterans in my office, and a lot of them were receiving disability benefits from the VA, but Social Security didn't consider any of them disabled because Social Security defines disability as the inability to work. And they were working, so they weren't disabled. But so there's different criteria for getting Social Security disability, but definitely file. If he is unable to work because of his disability, work substantially, you're allowed to work a little bit, but definitely file. Definitely file. Watch my video. I've done a few videos on that. M. Williams became a silver member. You are too awesome. Thank you very much. Let's see here. I like to pull out some negative comments every now and then. We'll see if I can find something. I heard something that Elon Musk and his team can cut off a Social Security payment they don't like. Would that either they or Social Security would have to write you to very concerned? Yeah, that's what kind of scares me. This whole thing about, oh, there's duplicate numbers, there's massive fraud there. No, I did a video on that yesterday explaining that, and hopefully, yeah, yeah. I've fired many federal employees because they accessed records they shouldn't have. And yeah, Social Security employee, looks up their ex-husband or something to see if they can get more child support or something like that. And that pops up into the system and they get the the big chicken dinner, bad conduct discharge. So, very Social Security is very serious about access, but now I guess, yeah. Anyway, I think that renaming the Gulf of Mexico is more important than Social Security. Who cares about Social Security? All right. I filed a 561 appeal. So the SSA 561 is a form, a request for reconsideration. Appeal to get 134 missing months of Social Security payments. They sent me a response saying I'm not eligible because I didn't file a claim within the 30-day limit. What should I do? You can go on to the next step. So the next step is you file a SSA 501. Yeah, it's the government. There's always forms. Sorry. And that is that you disagree with the decision and you want to talk to a judge, an administrative law judge. And the administrative law judge usually has a little bit more latitude. Yeah, but the judges, they are really, really booked up. And yeah, so it'll take you a while, unfortunately, to get an appointment with them, to get a hearing with them. But yeah, that's the next step. Will there still be original Medicare by the end of this year? I certainly hope so. I don't see anything that they're trying to get rid of Medicare. The one thing they're definitely trying to do is make Medicare Advantage the default option. So perhaps so right now, when you sign up for 65 or whatever, if you sign up for Medicare Part A or Part B, you go down to your local Social Security office and sign up, or go online, or whatever the case may be. Um, Maybe in the future they're going to say, well, now if you want to sign up for Medicare Part A and Part B, you pick a Medicare Advantage company and you sign up with them. Or if you sign up at Social Security, Medicare Part A and Part B, they automatically put you in a Medicare. That's what the proposal is. Several proposals that to make Medicare Advantage the default option. And the new person at the Center for Medicare and Medicaid Services, CMS, once he gets approved, is, guess what? Dr. Oz, who recommends that solution. So anyway, so reach out to your politicians if you disagree with that. Can I apply for my ex-spouse's Social Security online? If so, what is the link? It's true. Ex-spouses, if your ex-spouse is currently receiving benefits, yes, you can do it online, SSA.gov. If your ex is not receiving benefits, but they're at least 62 and you've been divorced for 2 years, then you'll have to call and schedule an appointment for IEDS, Independently Entitled Divorced Spouse Benefits. That is a big mouthful, isn't it? Ed, in regards to my question above, at age 55 or 62, drawing disability. Oh, okay, I'm sorry. Yeah, I didn't. I've got tons of questions before that, so I'm sorry I can't jump back to your previous one. Is Medicaid still available? COLA went up $15 over. I was told in March it would increase. I would be under the amount and receive again. I have no medical for all of February. Is this true? Each state's Medicaid is a system that's administered by the various states. So some states, they count different things, but it sounds like, yeah, that this happened a lot when the COLA was like 8.7% that one year, and a lot of people got kicked off of Medicaid. They're like, wow, I get an extra, $8 or $80, but now I have to pay an extra $300 for Medicaid for my health. So that is definitely one thing that the new Congress already said they're going to go after, is Medicaid, disability, SSI, supplemental security income, the Affordable Care Act. So we definitely need to, if you wanted to stick around, you definitely need to reach out. So yeah, you reach out to the state and say, hey, what's going on? I applied. You said I, would be, you might have to apply again. So if you got the extra $15, but you're good in terms of the threshold, you have to apply again. So, all right, let's see here. I called chapter. They verified I have the correct Medicare plan for me. Thank you. All right, Bill. All right, good deal. So, and that's also good peace of mind that you picked the right plan, or your plan didn't change, significantly, and your plan is still the best one in your particular area. So now you can go on with your life and don't have to worry about that nightmare, right? Your Medicare, except for having to deal with all the Medicare calls. They need to stop that. Chapter doesn't do that. They don't. If you don't call them, people always say, "Hey, can you have chapter call me?" No, sorry, can't do it. It's illegal. So you have to call them yourself. So even you say, "Oh, thank you for helping me out, chapter. Can you call my brother?" No, they can't. Your brother has to call first. So, but because chapter does it right, a lot of these other places, they'll cold call you and they'll cold call you. And yeah, so it's, yeah, they need to stop that. Keep it real. Stop stringing disabled in the colon by not emitting e lump is destroying our country. All kinds of different, yeah, you young kids and your English. Thank you for all you do for us. I am 76, work till had a secondary stroke. I receive SSDI. Can I relocate near family? Yes. If you're receiving SSDI, you can live, and you're a US citizen, you can live anywhere in the world except for North Korea and Cuba. So, but yeah, if you're in the United States, you can live anywhere. Just, if you're on SSDI, you're not on SSI. If you're on SSI and you move, then you have different living arrangements. So you might have to notify SSI of, your increased rent or something like that. But if all you're receiving is SSDI, Social Security Disability Insurance, no, you can live anywhere you want. But make sure you notify Social Security, and that way, if they send you any correspondence, oh, wait a second. You say you're 76 years old. You're not on SSDI at all. You're on regular Social Security benefits. So yeah, okay, yeah, I missed that part. Yeah, when but that's everything I said applies to those other people. But you're 76 years old. You're no longer on SSDI. You're on regular retirement benefits. Once you hit your full retirement age, probably for you it was like 65 or 66, then Social Security switched your benefits from disability benefits to regular retirement benefits. So your check stayed the same and everything. So that's probably why you didn't even notice. But you've got no more work limitations. You can work as much as you want if you decide to. You're not going to get any more of those CDRs, the continuing disability reviews. You are completely free. Go out there and live your life and do what you want to do. That just shows up. Listen to Fox, MAGA, and Trump. Wait till they hit. Yeah. Yeah, there's another YouTube channel out there that picked up the whole, Elon Musk tweet, and they ran with it a while. I'm going to do a review of that and kind of straighten people out. Um, yeah, it's anyway. My husband and I have been together for 25 years. Congratulations. We have never actually married. Okay. Is there an advantage with the dollar amount in our Social Security by getting married? It really depends on the benefit amount. What's your full benefit amount, called the PIA, the primary insurance amount, and what his primary insurance amount is. And whether if one is twice as much as the other, and you might be entitled, one might be entitled to benefits on the other record, and survivor benefits. If you're not married, unless your particular state is a common law marriage state, then you will never get benefits if you don't get married. So, all right, because none of them want to pay taxes and they think they can steal our Social Security. Yeah, that's one of the big issues right there. Is the people that make over $176,100 do not want to pay FICA taxes on their Social Security like we do, or FICA Social Security taxes like we do. We pay it on every dollar. They don't want to, and so that's why they're coming up with all these distractions, and we keep falling for it, but not you guys. Is it better to get my health benefits better from Social Security or OPM? Um, it You should definitely check in terms of Medicare or OPM. Yeah, if you're OPM and you're retired, you've got the federal employee health benefits. Most people that have that, they don't even have to sign up for Part B, unless you're postal service. Postal service is always different and strange. But yeah, if you got federal employees health benefits and you're happy with it, you stick with that. But yeah, or you can get Part B and Medicare supplement. I wouldn't get a Medicare supplement possibly if you've got federal employees health benefits, because you're just be paying extra. So, but yeah, you might be good. Again, you can reach out to chapter and they can walk through all the details of your particular plan or your particular situation. Dr. Ed, we have begun my wife's Social Security spousal application. My wife received Social Security benefits as a child. Does she need to check the box for previously received Social Security survivor benefits 50 years ago? No, it's you can if you want. It's no big deal. Yeah, that is not held against her at all. It doesn't reduce her benefit amount, her, whatever benefit wasn't, drained because of this, that, or the other. Um, no, it's Social Security, when they pull up the MBR, the payment record. Elon Musk, if you're listening, That's where the money, that's the checkbook, the MBR, the master beneficiary record. Those are not duplicate. There's one social security number and one name, one A record. Not the Numadent, which you're looking at, and you don't pay from that. Uh, it's yeah. Anyway, we won't have to pay tax on our Social Security because Elon is going to take all of our Social Security. I certainly hope not. Dark humor, right? Gallows humor. I filed for SSDI and they denied me. Then I refiled with a lawyer and they said I did not have enough work credits, use the same doctors and everything. And then they gave me my SSI, kind of file again. You can always file again, but it sounds as though um, for filing for SSDI, you need to be insured twice. And the first one is that you had to pay into Social Security, 10 years or 40 quarters or whatever the case may be, just like for retirement or anything. But for SSDI, you also have to be currently insured. That means you had to work any of the 5 years out of the last 10, 5 out of the last 10 years. So if you paid 10 years in your 20s and then you took off for 10 years and didn't work, and you go in to file at 40, you're going to be denied. It doesn't matter how disabled you are. You're not insured. You're insured, but you're not currently insured. So that's why they went ahead and they said you are disabled. So they said you are disabled. That's why you're receiving SSI, the supplemental security income. But remember, you're receiving SSI. You're also categorically eligible for Medicaid from the state. So reach out to Medicaid and see if they'll help you with your your health care. Jamie, unfortunately, Trump doesn't care about people on Social Security unless he is taking the money to fund his rich friends' tax breaks. Yeah, so I'm waiting for a policy. If I was working and no longer working, can that be added on to your benefits? If you're receiving Social Security benefits and you work, and it doesn't matter whether you're 65, 75, 85, 95, if you work, you still have to pay Social Security, FICA tax. Um, it doesn't matter, that you're receiving benefits already. But if that work is one of your high 35 years of earnings, then that will increase your benefit amount. So yeah, and that's automatic. Once you file your taxes and once Social Security is notified that you paid, and they look at it and they say, hey, this is one of your high 35 years of earnings. They kick out the low one, stick in the new high one, recalculate it, and your benefits are increased. So that is 100% automatic. Let's see. Why have they not increased the thresholds over the years? Yeah. Or you talk about the taxes? Yeah. Yeah. Why do they include half of our Social Security checks as income when calculating income from work? Well, that's actually a good thing if if they included all of it. So if you're making, let's say $2,000 or $2,200 a month, doing my math here, then you're going to be over and you have to pay taxes. So a lot more people would have to pay taxes, but they only count half of that. So that's good. That means less people pay taxes. So that part is good. Why they haven't increased the thresholds, that's, it's obviously the number one reason is because that brings in more money to extend the Social Security Trust Fund so we don't get cuts. So that's good, I guess, except for if you're paying those taxes. You hate everybody hates taxes, but yeah, it helps the Social Security Trust Fund, and it ensures that it stays around a little bit longer. But it's still going to disappear because we need to do other things. So if you don't pay into the Social Security system, please do not expect to get Social Security. Yeah. Yep. You can still get, even if you don't pay into Social Security, you can still get SSI if you're disabled or you became or you're 65 and older. It's called SSI Agent, and that's a welfare-based program. And SSI, supplemental security income, does not come out of the Social Security Trust Fund. That comes out of regular taxation. So it's a welfare-based benefit. And if you didn't pay into Social Security, you're still entitled to benefits if you were married to someone that did pay into Social Security, spouse benefits and all the rest of it. So let's see. I'm not blind, but I'm not going to be able to do my job for very much longer. Does that qualify as a disability? if you're not able, if, as you put it, you're not going to be able to do your job for very much longer, if that is a medical, physical, mental, whatever condition that because of this disabling condition you're no longer able to work, then absolutely file if you're not able to work. A omnipotent, if you file at 67, then you will get your full retirement age. Yes, if that's your full retirement age, 100%. Dr. Ed, thank you. Contact Social Security. I am going to be receiving my benefits from my deceased husband. Shout out to Miss Lee. Okay, all right. So all of the people that liked and subscribed and shared, that's how Vicky got this information, and she went and got her some benefits, surviving spouse benefits. So awesome. And I guess Miss Lee helped you at the Social Security office. So awesome. Good deal. Hello Kitty. Oh, okay. Hello Kitty at Hello Kitty. Okay. Hello Kitty. Anybody knows Hello Kitty's actual last name? Kitty White. So Hello Kitty White. Good. I have no idea why I know that, buddy. I just signed up for Medicare Part A and B. Do I need to sign up for Part D to cover for my high cost drugs? If you just have Part A and Part B, if you got a whole bunch of money, then you're good. But if you don't, like the rest of us, then you're going to need something to cover those gaps, because the big one, Medicare Part B, that only covers 80%. So if you go in for some surgery or therapy or $100,000 Band-Aid from your doctor, you have to pay 20% co-insurance. So you have to pay $20,000 out of pocket cash. So that's why people get either a Medicare supplement plan, which are the ones I recommend you check out first, a plan N or a plan G, see if that one's right for you. Unfortunately, for 50% of the people, it's not because of, premiums and costs and whatever, their health. But check it out for at least check it out first, and then get a Medicare Advantage, whichever one is best in your area. And for Medicare Advantage, most of those have Part D wrapped up in them. So if you get a Medicare Advantage, you'll probably get one unless you're a veteran or something like that and use the VA. If you get a Medicare Advantage, the Part D is already in there. If you get a Medicare supplement, then you have to get a standalone Part D plan. A lot of people miss this. And when they sign up for a Medicare supplement plan, an N or a G or whatever, then the agent says, hey, do you want a prescription drug plan? Oh, I don't take drugs. So no, I won't. And they're like, agent doesn't make any money, so they don't care. They don't get a commission on that, so they don't care. And 5 years later, you do have to take a prescription and you find out you're going to be penalized for the rest of your life. So you have to get one when you have to get one. So, um, let's see. I have a question about this guy that I am seeing online talking about Social Security today. His name is Steve Ram, talking about dog. Yeah, he kind of, yeah. I've watched some of, he kind of reads the newspapers and stuff. So was it, okay, I'm really gonna, who used to do that? Remember Captain Kangaroo? Those people out there, Captain Kangaroo? Didn't he used to read, or was it Mr. Green or something? He used to read the newspapers or something like that. Was that him that did that? Anyway, Dr. Ed, question for Uncle. His wife has been deceased several years. He is 81. Can he receive her benefits? I would definitely tell him to reach out, or y'all together call up and sit on the phone for hours, and then with him right there, and see if her benefit amount had to be higher than his. So if it was, then sounds like he's definitely entitled to benefits. Had to meet the marriage requirements and everything like that. But I would definitely reach out. Hopefully, he called out and got that that very embarrassing lump sum death benefit. The $255. I've given out way too many of those $255, and they're embarrassing. Been the same $255 forever. So that's why a lot of people say, hey, it's not going to cover your burial. So I look for a company that can help you with burial insurance, and you can give them a call, and they will treat you right. And if they don't, give me a call and I will summarily cancel them. But they're doing a great job so far. I am 67 and have Part A, B, and G. However, I do not have any private insurance like Blue Cross Blue Shields, just supplement with high deductible. Do I need a separate Advantage plan? No. If you got a Medicare supplement plan, hopefully you also have a Part D, the prescription drug plan. If you don't, you definitely need to get one immediately, if not sooner. Well, you might not even be able to get one right now. You might have to wait until October. and you just might be penalized, unfortunately. But no, you don't need a separate. You don't need both. It's one or the other. You get a Medicare Advantage plan or you get a Medicare Supplement plan. But you can always check to see if there's a cheaper G plan in your area, and check out the Part D. You can reach Chapter or whoever help you out, and they can help you out. When my wife turns 62, can she draw off of my Social Security? I am on SSDI, and if she can, what percentage of my check will she get? She can get up to 50%. Hers will be reduced because she's going to start at 62. Anytime you take money from Social Security early, it's reduced. So if she starts at 62, she's going to get a full reduction. But hey, money's money. And she has to file for benefits on her own record first. So she files for benefits on her record first, and then if your full benefit amount is twice hers, then she can essentially get the difference. So let's see. What billions are going to Musk? Yeah. Let's see. Why is it that we have to wait for 205 or so days before we get a decision? Then they say you need to wait more time. I got my acceptance letter and it said needed to wait an additional 6 months. Are we talking about disability benefits or something? Yeah. When I took the hundreds of thousands of disability claims I took when I worked at Social Security, me and everybody else used to say, you'll get a decision within 3 or 6 months. Now they're telling people 6 to 9 months if you're lucky because low staffing. And again, hey, efficiency, we're always good for efficiency. So Elon and his kids they can help with efficiency. We're always accepting, but it's, people have to process the claims, and it's, yeah. So I would, as everything on this, anytime you don't get the customer service you want, the reason you don't is because the politicians don't want you to get the good customer service. So you reach out to your politicians and you hold their feet to the fire and say, hey, forget about the rest of the country. The Social Security office right down the street from you, I have to wait on the phone for 3 hours. I have to wait for a year to get a decision on my disability. What are you doing to improve customer service? And if they tell you some BS about telework, then you tell them, okay, so when the people come back to the office next week or 2 weeks from now, then customer service is going to be superb again. Is that what you're telling me, Senator? Because if it isn't, I'm calling you back in 2 weeks. And guess what? You're going to call them back in 2 weeks because that ain't it. They're just trying to trick you. So I love the way Dr. Weir responds to negative, insulting comments. He remains so calm. Yeah, I love, yeah, I'm an old Marine Corps sergeant, so I used to dish it out. And y'all suck at personal attacks. I'm sorry. So, Dr. Ed, sometimes as citizens of the United States, we ignore the truth of what's happening right now in our White House. A dictator not elected by the correct people. Who cares? Yeah, I'm about that. Anyway, so let's see here. I would hope Musk would see Social Security recipients don't get enough, and all that waste has finding should go towards fortifying Social Security. Yes, I mean, yeah. To be completely fair to him, he did do a tweet or X or whatever they call it in the last few days, and he says, "Yeah, the reason I'm looking at this." Social Security and Medicare fraud, waste, abuse, and stuff like that is to strengthen the system. And we're like, yes, please, awesome, 100%. I'm 100% for that. But when you start off by, the very first tweet about those duplicate things, that just, yeah, that means you don't know really what you're looking at, and you need to do a little bit more research. Don't start pushing buttons until you know what that information is. So, all right, I'm working for Social Security for 36 years, and I'm not planning to stop. The morale is low, but still working, serving our customers. Now they want us to do audits virtually. Congress is killing us. Yes. Yeah, I'm trying every day. I was an old Marine Corps and sergeant. I was self-employed for a long time, owned an art gallery in Japan, go figure. And worked for the Social Security Administration. And the people at Social Security, 99.9% of them were phenomenal, awesome, really dedicated. People had bad days and stuff like that. And, anyway, but they were awesome. But are there bad employees? Of course. Every district manager in the country, and I had him too, every district manager in the country has one or two employees they would really like to fire. Believe me, that person that helped you on the phone that is just nasty, maybe they were just, they're having a bad day, but maybe they're nasty all the time. Um, I'm sure their manager wants to fire them, but because they can't replace them, it's like, okay, this person bedside manner sucks, does about 80% of the work, kind of, skates on the other 20%. Um, but if I fire that person, which I really, really like to do, I can't replace them. So that's 80% of the workload that's not going to get done. So unfortunately, just have to tolerate. So if the Congress came in and said, "Hey, we're going to give you some allocations, get rid of the dead wood, and get some people in there that actually want to be in there and actually want to help people," then yeah, it would be a lot more better, a lot more. Anyway, my English. All right, it's over an hour. That's why my English went south all of a sudden there. All right. So yeah, we are over time. I apologize. A lot more questions I'm not able to get to, but I will be back again tomorrow and pick up topic of the day, and then I'll answer a whole bunch of questions.